Welcome to Wisdom Wednesday. I'm Erman Özdemir, a Bakerpedia influencer, and I'm here to share some baking wisdom with you today. Here goes. What do you know about artisan bread flour quality and formulation? Artisan bread is gaining popularity with the increasing health-based claims over conventional bread. In addition, the clean label, authenticity, and sensorial creativity are boosting this trend even further. Sourdough, baguette, ciabatta, Vienna and Italian loaves are a few popular artisanal breads that are showing up on supermarket shelves. What flour is best for artisan bread? Hard red spring and hard red winter wheat kernels are usually used for artisan bread flour. The protein content usually falls within the range of 10.5 up 12.5%, and the ash content is usually within the range of 0.48 and 0.55%. Additionally, enrichment of artisan bread flour with nutrients is possible. Flour components that affect artisan bread baking quality. Flour components that affect artisan bread baking quality. 1. Proteins. Gluten proteins mix with water to form a viscoelastic dough. This viscoelasticity gives the ability to retain gas during fermentation and baking. The quality and quantity of these proteins affect water absorption and ensures that the artisan bread flour performs well during the baking processes. Dry whittle wheat gluten absorbs water nearly twice its weight. 2. Starch. Starch is present in both the native and damaged form. Native starch is simply the starch as it exists in the unmilled grain. A small percentage of the starch granules, are damaged in the milling process. Some damaged starch must be present to assure proper absorption as well as good fermentation and cross coloring. While damaged starch isn't a big portion of flour's component, it may affect the dough and cause thickness if it is present in large amounts. Both native and damaged starch gelatinization takes place in the oven in the presence of water. Gelatinized starch sets the structure of baked goods. Some damaged starch is good to help provide add softness to artisan bread for an extended shelf life. 3. Enzymes. Amylases are a group of starch degrading enzymes. In cereals, alpha amylase is found in the endosperm, bran, and germ. Alpha amylases can be quantified using following number tests. The following number should be 250 seconds. This is sufficient amylase activity to support fermentation and gassing without added sugar. Flours of low amylase activity should be supplemented with diastatic malt. Most millers will add an appropriate dosage of malted barley flour. The following number is representation of sprout damage, enzymatic activity, and water absorption properties. 4. Bran. Bran could be up to 19% in whole wheat flours. This is why whole wheat bread has a denser volume. Bran adds flavor, color, nutrients, and texture to the bread. It also reduces mixing tolerance due to its disruptive nature. If bran is added separately as an ingredient, it needs to be soaked first for at least 1 hour. 5. Ash. Ash is present at 0.5% of most unbleached white flour and is an indication of how well the flour milling process has removed the bran. Ash doesn't affect water absorption or mixing, but it does disrupt gluten formation. Too much ash would affect dough volume and the color of the final product. Ash levels in flour for artisan bread can be higher as compared to white pan bread due to this final quality attribute. Some flours milled for artisan bread production may have ash levels of 0.55% to 0.60%. Some specialty flours may have higher ash levels in the 0.80% to 0.9 range. These higher ash flours will require additional water in the mix. 6. Granulation. The granulation in whole wheat flour, extra fine, fine, medium, coarse, or extra coarse, unwittingly affects the texture of the finished product. Coarse flour leads to a denser bread with an earthier, unrefined crumb texture. Evaluating the baking quality of flour, the pharynograph is the most common method for measuring the baking qualities of bread flour. Another popular instrument is mixolab. Both the pharynograph and mixolab measure and record the dough strength over time. Traditional French baguettes are typically produced from a relatively lean formula that can contain sugar or shortening. Dough is prepared with a pre-ferment, taking up to 10 hours to make. The weight is usually a function of loaf length, 46 centimeters and 450 grams. Baguettes have a high crust to crumb ratio. Therefore, they lose significant water content during baking and cooling, and can overbake easily. Can I skip folding dough during the long fermentation time? Folding the dough during refrigerated fermentation reinforces the gluten networks, making the dough stronger. This helps prevent gas from escaping the dough during long bulk fermentation. Bypassing this step would create a weak dough, one that will not hold up the high output lines, resulting in a small uniform cell structure and additional final proofing time. Is water absorption related to the moisture of the flour? Yes. How much water you can add into the dough dependent on how much water is already in the flour. For example, in the flour, water absorption capacity is 65% and it comes in at 13% moisture. You can add 1% more water to your dough, making it 66%. Can wheat or flour with high ash content be used for making artisan bread? Higher ash content is a result of bran left in white or refined flours. Is all-purpose flour important in bread products? The only bread products that utilize all-purpose flour are pizza, flatbread, and tortillas, where volume, softness, and a break and shred are not important. It is imperative that you used only artisan bread flour for bread. You expect a good break shred. In emergencies, you may add 2% vital gluten to all-purpose flour to produce a pan bread product. And that's it for Wisdom Wednesday today. Don't forget to download the baker paper in the Academy, and if you have any questions, join us in the forums at LinkedIn and Facebook. Just look up the Baking Industry Professionals group on these platforms. Till the next time, bakers. Bye.